Okay, but how to reference and take inspiration by Mao Mao. This is again good for if you guys want to like, if you guys ever plan on streaming or like just want to make like an avatar for like just social media, you know, you want to design your own little character that represents you. And this is specifically how to do that for like not representing, this is specifically how to do that, but like specifically how to reference and take inspiration from an existing design. Like a design that you're like inspired by, like say you see Luffy or like you see, I don't know, Sonic, I guess, and you see them and you're like, oh shit, I really like that character. But then you're like, oh, but if I like use that character, then it's stealing, right? And like copyright might like get your ass and stuff. So what do you do when you want to take inspiration? So this is it. How to reference and take inspiration by Mao Mao. So let's see here. Okay, and this is me. This is Nya Baby Mao. So yeah, so I'm a digital artist, illustrator for 8+ years. I've been doing this for quite a while, even though I'm still very small as like, you know, following wise. I have been doing this for 8 years, and I drew and I rigged my own model, which is the one you see on screen here. Yep, this one, even though, there we go, yeah, that's the one. Next. Introduction. This is how a discussion on how to properly reference and take inspiration from existing designs. So like specifically, there's a lot that goes into like making a character design. There's a lot that goes into that, but this will specifically be how to like reference and take inspiration from existing designs. There's a lot of other things that goes into this, of course, like how many elements you need, like color palettes, that kind of stuff. Okay, and here's all the examples of the models I'm working on. Like, here's the models I'm working on, like my character designs I made. This is the one I'm using currently. This is my first one here. And then this one is the one that I'm working on. This is my 2.0 model. This is how the tail's gonna look. And then this is just like how it's, at the moment, like when you rig it in Live2D, it's gonna curve. That's how that looks. Yep. Next. The importance of silhouettes. Silhouettes play a really big part in this, okay? Silhouettes are really important, you guys, because you think it's like not really that important, because like obviously when you look at like my model here, you see all the different designs, like the different details and stuff, like my eyes, like the color palette, you see that. But the silhouette plays an important role because it's what like shapes the colors and everything. It's very important. Looking good, Mao, thank you. And here is how I'm gonna show that. So, colors versus shape. Which reminds you more of the titular Disney icon? If I ask you guys to like, if I said titular Disney icon and you look at these two, which one do you think is gonna be more identifiable as the titular Disney icon? Like obviously Chopper in the colors here, you might be able to tell like from the colors that, yeah, okay, that's kind of like the colors that, but then obviously the silhouette is gonna be more like, it's gonna jump out more if you ask like the Disney character, right? Like obviously looking at this is what you see, this is what reminds you more of Mickey. Like wow, I'm fumbling so much. I like color picked these, like I color picked these colors to put on Chopper from like Mickey directly. Like I color picked it, but it's the silhouette is still what reminds you more of Mickey, right? I've got to like edit so much of this video. Because like it's the shapes and everything that's like really makes you jump out, right? And then shape is what makes, I spelled unique wrong. Shape is what makes the design distinct. Wait, let me move this real quick. Zoom that in over here so you guys can actually see everything. Shape is what makes the design distinct. Like here, I changed kind of like the shape of the ears to make it a bit more like oblong-ish. I made the snout a bit longer. I changed the color palettes entirely. Like these are all completely different colors, right? The shoes, I added like a little, it's more like a sneaker. It has like shoelaces, and I made the shorts a bit longer. I changed like the glove, like the glove, Mickey Mouse. Yeah, like I changed the glove here to be like more of like a biker glove with like the strap and stuff. And like, I changed how the mouth like is. Like over here, his mouth is like curved like outward like that, and then this one's curved inwards, making him look a bit more like chubby cheeks. So I changed a lot about this, right? But because the overall shape, the overall silhouette is still the same, this still makes you think of Mickey. This still very much looks like Mickey. 2.0 model looks so sick. Thank you. My PNG model, I have to collaborate with you. Okay, that sounds fun. Yeah, but you see, like I changed like a lot about this. Like I changed each little details, like his face thingy shape here. It's rounded here. I made it a bit more angular. Like I changed a lot about it. Even like the proportions a bit. Like I made his head a bit tinier. But it still reminds you of Mickey. It still very much resembles Mickey. Like you showed it to anybody. You showed this to like Disney, and they're still going to tell you that's copyright. That's just Mickey. That's a Mickey copy. Because the overall silhouette, the overall everything, it still resembles Mickey, right? So keep that in mind then. Shape, unique. Shape is what makes everything unique. How to reference, things to keep in mind. These are things you should definitely keep in mind when you're referencing. And they're very good tips, I guess, to help you with referencing. Oh wait, I forgot to actually so funny, someone finished. I forgot to change like this, but it's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to. It's not where you it's not about the reference you take. It's not about your references. It's about what you do with that reference, right? Like, okay, you're inspired by Mickey Mouse, you're inspired by Sonic, and that's great and all, but it depends on what you do with that design. Like, okay, so you're inspired by Mickey Mouse. What are you gonna do with that design? Are you just gonna keep everything the same? Are you gonna make any changes to it? And that's the point, right? Build the character. Build the character. What is this character's story? What is the personality? So here's me, and this is just Mao Mao again. And this is kind of my thought process when designing my my 2.0 here. So my character is monstrous, a god, because Viet. So the thing is that in Viet Zodiac, we have a cat instead of a rabbit, and that's what I was inspired by. Hi Gio, thank you for lurking, and that's what I was inspired by. So monstrous, a god, can take many forms, mainly Viet mythical creatures. That's the main thing, is that when I want to have a different form or anything, a different outfit, I tend to go for another mythical monster design in some way or form. And here, let me move that over so you guys can see. No, come on. So here's an example, right? So the original here, it's just here's me, it's just a cat monster, kind of some dragon aspects. I don't want to spoil too much, but the dragon thing is essentially, in Viet lore, there's this lore, and you guys might have heard of it, but it's Viet people are the children of a dragon and a fairy, right? So that's what I was going for here. The fairy, technically, in the Viet side of things, she's not really a fairy, she's more of just a magical woman or a goddess, right? So there's not many Western fairy elements in this, but I've added the dragon elements because, again, child of a dragon and fairy. And so here, when I was designing a different character. When I was designing a different character design for it's like a challenge that my friend on Twitter had, where she was like, okay, draw yourself as Susu version. Susu, that's her name. So if we were in her universe, what would we look like? And so I kind of morphed my character design in hers, and she's this blue space dog, right? So I was like, okay, blue dog. And then in Vietnam we have this thing called a con nghe. Con nghe, it's kind of it's like a lion dog. There's many different versions of lion dogs, but that's one of them. And so I morphed that together, and that's my process behind this, right? So I had a thought process. I was like, okay, so my original character and a dog, and then I also, because I have this can take many forms, mainly Viet mythical creatures, I went to okay, so what's a mythical dog we have in Viet culture? And there's the lion dog, and so that's where I went with that. So basically a hybrid, exactly, a hybrid. Thank you, Kanaya, for the Babu Princess Flash. Thank you, and it's off on. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay, let's zoom out here so I can do this. Let's zoom out a bit more. Okay. Use more than one inspiration. always take inspiration from multiple designs, sources, references. If you take designs, if you're inspired by just the one thing, then there's no way for you to like build upon that, right? Because you have to make the design unique to yourself. Like think about like your hobbies, the kind of things you like, the aesthetics you like other like anime, manga, movies, like series, media that you like. Think about like all those different things. Do not reference from just the one singular thing. Shylily, yeah. So the inspirations I have here is so this is Shylily. She's a like an orca, like a cat orca or cat VTuber. She's a very big VTuber. She's pretty awesome. And then so because I wanted to like you create like a design inspired by her, right? Because if you go back here, can take many forms, mainly via mythical creatures, and I have these two here, but I don't have one that's like aquatic quite yet, so that's why I went with like Shylily. She's an aquatic VTuber. She's also like a cat, you know, so that kind of works for me. And then I also took a look at like other different like monsters in Viet mythology that's like aquatic in some way, because again, like I'm building the character. I can take many forms, mainly Viet mythical creatures. And so in Viet mythical creatures, it was really hard finding stuff because like it was really hard finding like references for Viet mythical creatures on online. But I found Gakken on the left here. Gakken, it's like a whale monster. It's from, what was it, iPhone or something like that. Yeah, but it's like a whale monster in Viet mythology. And this is a little piece of art that it's made by Nyan Nyan. I think it's like this is like from like a collection of like Viet mythical monster art. So the Wi-Fi is a bit bad. No worries, Kano. Yeah, don't worry about it. Thank you so much for trying and like trying to stay connected and everything. Thank you so much. I hope your Wi-Fi gets better. And then on the right here we have Nyan Nyan, which is a fish monster in Viet mythology. So I have these two here as like another like form of reference. I'm also of course referencing my original like design here because I'm trying to like build upon that. Take another drink of water. Okay, so here we have all our inspirations. We have Shylily, we have Gakken, the whale monster, Nyan Nyan, the fish monster, and my original design here. So add new personal elements. Add new personal elements to think. It's fine to be inspired by like different it's fine to be inspired by other designs, existing designs, right? Like Hunter x Hunter characters or like video game characters. It's fine to be inspired. But if you want to use them, you have to add your own new personal elements to it, like what makes you you. Like because you're creating a design for yourself, right? So you have to make it represent yourself in some way. And that could be through like for me here, like these hair tendrils. Here, I'll zoom in a bit so you guys can see. But I have these like hair tendrils here that I always put on my designs. Like you can see them here in this one here too. Like you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but they're like right there and right here. And I always put them in my designs. I don't think I have them in like designs I have. No, I do. Yeah. Like yeah, you can see them here too. Like hair tendrils is the thing that makes my character design. So that's one of them. Eyes, I love putting like the eyes everywhere because it's like, again, makes the design look a bit more monstrous. So that's like another element that I could add to it to make it more me, of course. Then horns to antenna. So like in my original form here, so my original form is like a cat and a dragon, right? So it has horns. I'll zoom in a bit more if you like, you guys can really see, yeah. So it has like horns, it's like right there, yeah. But like because I'm doing a more aquatic based like design, aquatic monster, so I changed those to antennas. So that's like another thing of like making it yourself somehow, like adding elements that makes it you. Then like fangs, again, fang. I have like these two fangs here on my hoodie here. I have a little fang here. It's not as fangy here because a dragon I guess is fangy, but it's not the main thing. But like if I go back and look at my references here, you can see, one second, that the Nyan Nyan and the Gakken, they both have like, or at least this artist rendition of it, has a lot of fangs and teeth in it, as a lot of like deep sea monsters do, which is why I added like the fangs in this as well. Let's zoom in so we can look at that. Like I added on like the sides of this here, like to make it look like a bit more interesting. I put it on the underside of the top, on the bottom of the, not the bottom, on the top of like the skirt here to make it kind of look like a little mouth here, kind of, in a way. So yeah, adding some fangs. And then cat elements, again, adding more like cat-ish elements, because Shylily is an orc-cat, right? She has like slight cat elements-ish. You can see kind of like the ears and a lot, but I like cats a bit more. Like I really want to go into like the cat elements of it. So I like made the ears like a bit more cattish. I add like paws to everything. One of the tails has like a little paw like that kind of stuff. So yeah, add new elements to the existing. Oh god, it's covered by the thing. Let's zoom it out a bit more. Add new elements to the existing element that makes the design unique to you. You have to think about how to make the design to you. The different Mao Maos are cute. Thank you. I'm glad you guys like them. Okay. Develop instead of replacing. So what this means is that, so when you look at like this design here, right? When you look at this design here, when you're building on top of like an existing design, like say One Piece, like Luffy or Sonic, don't just like take one design and switch it out with, not one design, don't just take one like element of the thing and switch it out with another thing. So like Luffy, don't just like you can't just like switch his like straw hat for like a top hat and be like, that's a new character design. You can't just switch out his like his shirt with like a different shirt and be like, that's a new character design, right? So you can't just like change things. You have to actually build upon them. And here's how I did that. And a way to think about this is think about why this character has these elements, right? So like say with my example with Luffy, like so instead of a straw hat he has a top hat, but why does he have the top hat? Oh, thank you for the reset, Brent, thank you so much. Wait, what is that?
Just subscribed for 3 months.
Oh my god, thank you!
Smiley face. How long you been streaming for now, Mao?
How long have I been streaming for now? Maybe like half a year, around that, maybe a bit more. I really started streaming like early this year, maybe even a bit before that year, but I really started getting into it this year. Yeah. But thank you so. Was wondering why I didn't show. Oh wait, was that like super late or something? Oh my god. But yeah, thank you so much for resubbing for 3 months, friend. Oh my god, thank you so much. I swear to God, whenever like people sub or follow something, I'm just like, thank you so much, and then I'm like, oh shit, I should say something more than thank you so much, but like, what do I say? Like, I'm just really appreciative of it. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, guys. But yeah, okay, so think about why these characters has these elements, and again, the example I gave is oh, your Twitch crashed, oops. Yeah, but think about why this character has these elements. And the example I mentioned before, like Luffy, instead of his straw hat, he has a top hat, right? But think about why he has the top hat. That's what you have to think about. Like, okay, what's the decision behind this? Like, is he like a magician now? Like, if it's, then like if you go with that, like, okay, so he's a magician. You have to also follow that like little thread and be like, okay, so if he's a magician, does he have like cards? Does he have like a wand? Does his outfit change in any way? Does his facial expression change in any way? Does his personality change? And then if you just keep following that, you'll get a new character, right? And that's really important. That's why that's really important. Think about why this character has these elements. And so the way I did this is that, again, so for me, my lore is that I can take on different Viet mythical monster inspired forms. So then if I want an aquatic like form, then I would think sea monster, because then, you know, mythical monster, aquatic, sea monster. Again, and then I'm thinking, again, I want to keep the monsters in cute, so I have to keep that in mind. Again, horns, antenna, that's like what that's what I mean with like the replacing thing before. Like, okay, so since my character design is a sea monster now, what changes do I have to make to it? So then, like, say the horns changing into antennas, the tail changing into like an aquatic tail, the paws changing into more of like a flipper thing, you know, that. Sea monster, so I'm a sea monster, so I'm wearing a swimsuit. So this is kind of like my idea of a swimsuit, I guess. So that's why, like, that's the things you have to think about, right? And like, yeah. And that's what you have to think about, like, that's because like here's like the bad, I guess, quote unquote bad form that I drew for this. And so how a copycat by 15 months. Yeah, and so it's like, here's like the bad version I made of like the Shylily thing. So here's Shylily's design, right? And here's the bad form where I just okay, so her like she has a top like this, so I'll just like I changed the size. I made the sleeves a bit longer. I changed the colors of that. Oh, she has a skirt. Okay, her skirt has like a stripe. I'll replace the stripe with like dots, you know? And like her ahoge is like this. I'll change it slightly like that. Like I'll that's what you want to avoid, right? Like you want to avoid just like exchanging different details that doesn't really do anything instead of actually like fleshing out your idea. Okay, and then common mistakes, things to look out for when referencing. And here's a little, again, this is another like thing I'm working on. Maybe this one would be like for my panels below, like remember this, like rules and all that. I really like this little pose I drew. Yep. If you steal from one author, it's plagiarism. If you steal from many, it's research. And that's the truth, right? If you just steal from one author, that means you're just like, that's all you take. If you only ever base everything on one person, then you're just copying. But if you steal from many, then you're referencing because you're just taking little bits that you like about each thing and then building a new thing, right? And you can't really do that when you're only referencing from one like source because, again, you can't do much when you're only referencing one source. If you only reference from Sonic, then you're only ever gonna get Sonic again, right? That's a great quote, right? Thank you so much for the 1 bit, Cloudy.
Damn, that's a great quote.
Okay, the same reference should not be identifiable when you cover parts of the new design. And this is a really important bit, you guys. Here, okay. So I have this here, right? So this is the original one, right? So if I move this over here, if I cover like a part of the design, but then it still resembles the original, like you can see I still have the same top, the same skirt kind of. I still have like a strap at the same space. I still, you know, like there's still like the overall idea is still the same. And so, okay, it's a bit lagging. And then if I move this to like here, okay, shit, now the ears, there's the same the same ears and stuff, like that, the same tail placement, the same tail thing, right? And that's not a good thing because if it's still identifiable no matter where you start like covering stuff like this, if it's still identifiable, then you haven't made enough change to the design because it's still identifiable even when you hide other aspects. But if you go to over this design, like, okay, the ears are kind of similar, but I made it like a bit thicker, a bit more cat-like. So if I cover this, it looks different, right? The skirt is different. I have like different like sleeves here. They're much bigger sleeves. They're like lead out to like huge paws. Like the legs are different and everything. And another, yeah, like this. And oh, wait, let me go back to this real quick. Oh, no, not yet. Okay, I fumbled. But yeah, so like if I cover a tail, like the tail doesn't match, right? And that's like something you have to keep in mind, right? Take them notes. Yeah, take them notes. Because if you cover parts of it and they still resemble the original thing, you haven't made enough changes, right? If you cover like say you have like let's go back to like this thing, right? This Ricky the rat thing I made. If I cover the ears, like the shorts still like match. If I cover the thing, everything still matches, right? It won't work because I haven't made enough changes to it. I haven't made changes to like the pose or anything at all. But then if I do this here, then there's enough changes here where it looks like a completely different model. Like you can still see like the references, the inspirations from Shylily's model, but it's not to the point where like it's only just like, oh yeah, that looks like it's inspired by Shylily instead of that just looks like Shylily, which is what this one here looks like, right? So yeah, same reference should not be identifiable when you cover parts of the new design. That's something I always do when I like create new designs and I'm like inspired by something. I always kind of like have this in mind, but like that still looks the same even though I cover like parts of it, you know? I don't want to cause issues in chat, so I leave I cause more issues. That makes sense. Okay. Plonking the elements on and calling a day instead of further developing the elements. So let's say you really like cat ears or something, but you just plop them on. You don't do anything else. Like you don't like add a cat tail. You don't like modify the ears to make it match the hair. You don't modify the ears to make it match like the design. You don't like think about how that changes And then that just makes it look lazy, right? Like say the fins here. Here the fins, I just like plop some fins on because, you know, whales have fins, like whale monsters, fish have fins, so I just plop some fins here. Here, let me zoom in so you guys can actually see better. I just plopped the fins on. I didn't really do anything with them, and that's fine, right? But it still looks like you just plop them on, and you know, in a way, it kind of looks lazy because you don't do anything with them because they don't match your hands. They look like they just kind of grew out of it, right? So what I did over here is that I made like the fins part of the sleeves, and so it just it looks like a huge flipper. Right, so this looks a bit more smooth, looks a bit natural. It leads into the top, and then for the leg fins here, wait, let me. Wait, I have to move this so you guys can actually see it like this. For the leg fins here, I actually I changed like the colors of it, the colors of the leg itself, to match the fins, so then it kind of looks like I'm wearing like knee-high socks or something, right? So it kind of has that vibe. It looks like I'm wearing knee-high socks, and then it adds like a bit more of an interesting like silhouettes with this. And then you guys can't really tell, but I also made like the feet's like paws, you know, so it kind of looks more like an aquatic like mammal type thing, like with paws and everything. Yep. So yeah, that's another thing. If you like again, like an element, don't just plonk them on and just call it a day and like that's the design, because that's not gonna be like all that good, right? If you like Sonic's like hair, don't just plonk like Sonic's hair on it and just that. No, make it like mesh with the design in some way is what I'm getting at, I guess. And not researching further and thinking outside the box. Wait, can you guys? Oh, I'm so bad at like. Not thinking further and thinking outside the box. Okay. Like, so when you look at, so when I went into Shylily's like redesign here, like for my, I guess not really redesign, Shylily's like inspirational design, I guess is what I call it. So I see the tail, right? And so, okay, a tail. And I didn't just like copy the placement and like the shape of the tail. I went into it like, okay, so here's all the different like ways a fin could be, the different ways like a whale's mouth could be. Here's all the different like flippers and like tail styles. Like you see there's like a flatter style, there's like a bit longer one, there's like kind of like a rectangular-ish one and like that. And this is just one image I found. There's like multiple ways of doing it, like multiple ways of like drawing the fin. And again, this is also like a character design. It's like a fictional character design, right? Kind of fictional. It's like just like a drawing. So you could go really like unique into this, really like creative into this, like making the tail like more heart-shaped, making the tail like what I did here, like I made this tail like a paw because I wanted to like add more cat aspects to it. So I made the tail a paw because I can do that because it's just a drawing, right? So I just did that. And then I also thought about like, I don't want to have the same tail placement as Shylily. Which is what I did here. It just looks very lazy. It looks like it's just copied over, especially since I also copied all the different details over. Like I made this very lazily. This was made in like 30 minutes or something, very lazily. Yeah, but so I thought about like all the different ways I can change the tail. Like Shylily has hers pointing up, so I kind of thought like, okay, so I can like make it point down. Cause like when you look at Shylily's design, you can see the thing here, but you don't really see the big portion of the tail. And I saw that and I was like, okay, I'll make use of that. I'll make use of like this bottom portion of the tail. Like think about all the details you have, like everything you can do to work with it. So like a lot of people usually they think about again like the tip of the tail, but you're thinking about like the bottom of the tail here leads to more different like unique ways you can make your like the tail like placement, right? So here's one way, which is again like having the tail curved down like that. Again, this is also more like a cat tail because cat tails usually do this like little curve thingy. But here's some other ones. This is similar to the Shylily's, but this is like moving it outside a bit more and then having the tail kind of like rest a bit more on the bottom here. This is a bit more lower. This is again curved kind of like how I did up here, but curved more to the side. And this is just 3 placements I just came up with like on the fly. I could like even go further into it and like make it super unique, but I wanted to like make this like more simpler for you guys. Water. Okay, And then here's the last slide, which is examples of real-world industry artists referencing. So here's like examples of when real-world artists reference. And so example one here is when they're doing a parody, right? So this is Gintama, they're like parodying One Piece. And they don't exactly say, but you can pretty much tell that they are. Like, they're not like claiming this is like their original like design, right? Like, this is very much them parodying One Piece, and I'm pretty sure they do like credit that in some way, shape, or form, right? But this is like, they're not like claiming it as their own, essentially. Here's an example of when you reference but what's the word again? A pose. And this is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So the pose, it's very much the same pose, but they did a lot to change it. And even if they use the same pose, that's completely fine. You can't like claim a pose, right? Yeah, but like, so like the tail, not the tail, the leg here is a bit more like back there. He's like more like, what's the word? He's more like he's not like, his back is a lot more like curved down. Not as curved up. Their face is a bit angled a bit differently. They like, the manga guy here, they made changes to like their reference, right? And they don't just like copy the entire art not the entire photo like one to one. Like, it's not the same woman, same man, same outfits and anything. It's like they use this reference to apply it to their own like characters, right? And that's what you should do like too. Like, I didn't copy Shylily here. I just used her design and I just applied it to my own character. And then here we have, this is a very recent character in One Piece. This is Atlas. She's in the Egghead arc. And she's very much inspired by Astro Boy, right? But she's not a direct copy of Astro Boy. Like, her hair is completely different. Like, her what are these called? Like rocket boosters, like booster boots, I guess. They're very much inspired by Astro Boy here. They also like, you can fly with these. She flies with these. But like, they're not the exact same boots, right? They're completely different boots. The design's different. Like, the proportions are very much resemblance, like inspired by Astro Boy, but it's just like, it's a bit different as well. Her legs are a bit thinner. The eyes, the way the eyes are like the eyes are like drawn are also very much resemblance of Astro Boy. Like, the way like the pupils are kind of like this. The pupil itself is different, but like the way it's drawn, like the proportion, everything, very much Astro Boy. But it's still a different design, right? It's still different, and that's essentially it, right? And that's essentially just it. Like, when you're inspired by a design, don't copy the design one to one. Don't just like change out some parts and then just like call it a day. Like, think about like how you want to use that design, right? Again, let's go back to like that one thing. It's not where you take things from, it's where you take them to. Like, it's not about like the references you take or have or are inspired by. It's what you do with them that's important. Like, what do you want to do with this design of Sonic? What do you want to do with this design of Gon from Hunter x Hunter? Like, obviously you can't just like have it the same way. Like, you can't just copy it. You have to think about what to do with it to like make it unique. Like, how do I make this like me, essentially? That's the thing too. Keep that in mind. How do I make this like more me, essentially? Yeah. So yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat or in the comments later when this is on YouTube, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Yeah, I guess that's just my little rant on like how to reference and take inspiration. I'm more worried about